been a good while since I made any videos for YouTube lately. Been quite busy with work and getting some bits done with the car. So I think the last one was the in-car from Galway. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Galway. That was a very fun rally, but it was really hard in the car. Some of the parts of the stages were just like extremely rough and vibrated nearly everything loose on the car. So the main thing is lost my splitter over a jump, hit the ground pretty hard, and I think it went under the car or bounced off into the ditch somewhere. This headlight was loose, screws in here were loose, bonnet pins both loosened out, one of the bolts here gone. I learned the valuable importance of Loctite on everything, which it is now. And this vinyl that we put on for just to keep the kind of look of the car has just been peeling off. It is not really capable of going 110 or 115 mile an hour down the straight. The bonnet scoop held up okay. It's still there. The sealant is kind of still holding it on, but we're going to put a screw or two down through that just to keep it in place better. So yeah, it was a pretty fun event. We had a couple of problems. The gearbox, the Friday before the rally, we found a crack in the gearbox casing, so we were scrambling to try and get that all sealed up, and we were conscious of it the whole day, so we were kind of worried about it, that we were losing oil. Had to keep a check on it, so we did our best. We cleaned it up as best we could, pushed some soap into it to stop the oil from coming out, and then put some epoxy over it, and it held up okay. Also, all of the synchros, well, not all of them, but like first, second, third and fourth synchros were wrecked, and mainly first. I couldn't go from second down to first at all the whole day. It was just grinding. So we were no power coming out of some of the corners, just had to try and keep it as high as you could in the rev range, but it just like there's not enough power to really keep it in second for the majority of the tight corners in this car. It's only 175. It does the job, but it's not for if you're trying to improve your times. So when we got back from Galway, first thing we did was take the gearbox out of the car and stripped it, pulled it all apart and rebuilt it. We got some synchros, genuine Ford synchros for it, and replaced all the bearings and seals and got it sealed up tight, and got a new alloy top plate for it off a Quaife. We were having a couple of problems with the intercom as well, so finally made a silencer for the exhaust. It's just a little bit too loud, especially when the intercom it got turned down in the middle of the stage or at the start of the stage, and I just couldn't hear all of the notes, so I gave in, made a very rustic silencer for it. It does work. It's quieting the car down quite a bit, and it's means that we can now run in Mondello or some of the sprints where they check the noise of the car. were so rough as well that the fuel pumps came loose from their mount. They did stay in place for the whole day, but we could smell some fuel leaking. But we were able to get to the end. But yeah, not nice when you're going down a straight over 100 mile an hour and you get a sudden smell of fuel. So that's probably one of the next jobs, is just to take out everything here and get it sprayed again, because we have to make the changes to the floor for the fuel tank to meet the scrutineer's recommendations, and ideally get everything put back in and just ready for next year, so we shouldn't have any trouble with it next year. That's the hope anyway. And I broke my arch again. So these wheels are just too wide for these arches, and anytime you have a heavy landing or anything, they just crush. There is one other thing that we need to get done for next year. So these seat rails need to be changed for the FIA ones. So they'll be coming out for much thicker ones, and instead of having that tab on them, it'll just be a kind of like a bung that's welded directly into the tube, and it's much stronger for the seat, and I should be able to lower my seat down a bit more and give me more headroom, because my helmet is still hitting the roll cage almost down as far as I can get it in the car, and it's still just quite annoying bouncing my head off the roll cage in the middle of a stage. And this thing should be starting getting some work done on it soon. It is going to be broken, and the engine and gearbox are coming out. That seat is already loosened to just take it out, and we're going to start work on the Corsa seat. But for now I just want to get this thing all ready for next year, put it into the shed and throw cover over it, so that any track days or sprints that we can do before the start of next season, we can get a nice bit of testing in it and hopefully not break it, because it keeps getting damaged. It's not my fault. So the kind of last thing that I've been doing is these park lights. So this is the very first one I made, and I had to remake the mould for the whole thing. So that was just a trial, but it did the job for what I needed. I've remade them and they've come out a lot better. They still have all the lettering, they still all the lettering on some of them kind of had to be polished away to remove most of the scratches. But I got that corner fixed, it's much better. The only problem on the passenger side is there's a small chip on the original one that I have, so it's missing a little bit of the corner, but other than that they came out pretty nice and they're very clear. It's just kind of working on something to post-cure the material once it's cured, so that it will not just melt in the heat.